Hello, everybody, and welcome to Brooks Knows Baseball, episode 7, I guess. We made we made 30 of the 30 for 30 ones, and we're doing a regular podcast. We've done some other podcasts as well, so we are bumping out some content. But today, again, it's a regularly scheduled weekly podcast where we go once a week, talk about stats and some big stories as well. Today, we're going to talk about, hopefully we disagree, so we got some friendly banter here to disagree about. Talk about the best players in baseball. Who is the best player in baseball overall?
Ronald Acuna.
I disagree with that. I'm not even trying to argue with you. But
You could, stat-wise, you can't argue.
yes, you can.
How?
Well, we'll get into it.
Yeah,
But right now, yeah, we're going to talk about the best players in baseball. Hell, you want to talk about the worst player in baseball?
Yeah.
Just look at the worst player on Oakland. Oakland still doesn't have 10 wins.
I watched him last night, and I'll get into it, but Rooker is amazing.
Yes, I definitely want to talk about Brent Rooker because talking about the best players in baseball, you have to mention Brent Rooker.
Yeah, I was watching last night, and in the Texas got 2 in the top of the 10th. He comes back, wins the game, man, walks it off, man. The guy, where'd it come from?
It's always been he's always been a stud in the minor leagues. He's
I
always
want
been a
to
stud.
talk about the latest power rankings too.
We'll get to it. But since you brought up the best player in baseball, let's hear your thoughts.
Well, I broke it down, and I'll run through it really fast because I know you want to stay here all day. But and I got starting with catchers. I'd say in the American League, I say Adley Rutschman, and I'm not just
wait. Overall, we're not breaking it down by leagues. Overall, Adley's not statistically.
Overall.
Wait, and statistically, Adley's not the best catcher in the American League right now.
But everything, his arm.
Jonah Heim,
defense,
look at him.
Okay, let's see where they're at in the year.
Jonah Heim's hitting .319, 6 home runs, 30 RBIs.
Okay, you can't count any guy with a haircut like he's got. Okay, that drops him from any.
You're just jealous, Holmes, because you don't have any hair like me.
Yeah, a little bit. But anyway, no, and I'm gonna tell you what, and I can't really break it down because I'm gonna tell you who else is just as good as Adley is Sean Murphy with Atlanta. That guy's amazing. He's got 32 RBIs. He can throw, he can hit, he can do everything. And he's
what about Elias Diaz in Colorado?
Yeah, well, I can't honestly say. I know he's hitting. I don't know much. Pardon? 333 is a few minutes ago, but I don't know a lot about his defense. But
he's old though.
Really, but you can't. You know Murphy and Rutschman. I mean, come on. And then you got Real Muto.
No,
but I'm gonna say Murphy in the National, Rutschman American. Then I'm quickly go to first base and Guerrero with Toronto. You can't really argue that. Although his numbers are good, they're not what I've come to expect. I have 313, 7 home runs, 22 RBIs, 920 OPS on base.
Yandy Diaz.
Yeah, but I don't think
that'll last. His OPS is 1.008.
I know, but I don't think it's going to last. Just like Tampa, they're starting to lose now.
Well, we're talking about right now. We ain't talking about in July.
Well, who would you take? Would you take Diaz or would you take Guzman?
Me personally?
Yeah.
I would take Jake Cronenworth.
Yeah, okay.
I'm a big Jake Cronenworth fan.
Yeah, well, he was a monster in the International League. Anyway, in the National League, it's the same.
Hold on. I want to talk about a few things real quick. What has happened to Matt Olson? He's hitting .233, the Atlanta Braves first baseman.
He's never been a big average hitter, but he's driving in runs. He's hitting for power. What's he got, 10 or 11 home runs? 10?
His career average is .249, so he's,
okay.
Almost 20 points down.
Up until the last 2 games, they've been winning pretty consistently, so I'm not worried about him. And he's a good fielder.
If you look at his stats from 21, his average has dropped every single year. I'm going to say that.
Well, but internationally, okay, exclude him. It's Goldschmidt and Freeman, but I say Goldschmidt because, his numbers are good again, 310, 7 and 20, 700.
That's what he put a 2 in front of his home run total right now, and that's what it'll be for the year. He'll be a 310 hitter, probably 27 to 30 home runs, and he'll bat in about 90 RBIs.
And wasn't he the MVP last year?
Yeah. Let me ask you a question. Do you think he'll be there at the end of the year?
I thought about it.
He's getting kind of old.
Well, I don't know how long his contract is, but I do know I've never seen St. Louis be sellers at trade deadline because they've never had to. Who knows?
In your lifetime, really, they've never been bad.
They're to me the most consistent team in baseball year in year out.
The most consistent professional sports franchise in the world, apart from like English soccer.
Them and the Yankees.
And one guy I do want to talk about as well. We need to give a little bit of credit to a young guy apart from Vlad, Vinny Pasquantino. He's a 276, so now 7 home runs, 19
Yeah,
RBIs, so he's doing pretty good.
right. And you know what? They just lost on a walk off against Milwaukee, but and look at Prado. He's playing first base more than Pasquantino lately, and Prado's ripping. I think he had at least 2 more hits tonight.
Yep.
You know, he's finally coming. They're going to be a team if they can find a little bit of pitching. I mean, not this year, but they're going to be next year's or in 2 years the Orioles. You know, a young team with all the studs that are starting to produce.
Well, they
Hopefully,
both were good together, you know,
mm-hmm.
and then they both got bad together. The Orioles just rebounded a lot quicker.
And
But
better man running the situation with Elias, best general manager in baseball.
Arguably.
But then
Second base. I want to hear this. Who you got second base?
I got second base. I'm not going strictly on numbers. I'm got Semien because he's leading that team without Seager. He's batting 288, 7 homers, 33 RBIs. On base is good. OPS is good. Plays solid defense. He's the leader of that team. He's keeping them afloat, I think.
What do you think about Luis Perez?
Well, yeah, but he's no leader. And from what I've gathered, yeah, he hits good, but his average is rapidly coming down.
Yeah, it's down to 379.
Okay, what was it last week?
Like 425 or something.
Right. Okay.
His on base last week was 500.
He's driven 14 runs. Woohoo! 1 homer. Woohoo!
So he has 132 at bats, Dan, and 9 strikeouts.
Yeah. No, he's a great hitter, but I just think there's other guys. I do have him as the best National League one, but
Yeah.
when I moved to third base, one of my guys surprised you, but the other one, Chapman, another one, rapidly coming down from his career year. He's down to 326 now, which is still good, but it won't be there at the end of the year. His OPS is solid. His OPB is great, and they're pretty consistent. They're winning. That whole division's got a winning record.
Wait, who do you have as number 1 in third base?
I got Chapman right now over there.
What about Anthony Rendon? Speaking of rebound.
Yeah, I like seeing. I'm a big
Rendon is leading the entire league for third base and on base percentage at 415. He's hit 3-1 hitter. His power is kaput. One
trivia question. What's his nickname? What's his nickname?
Rendon?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Tony Two Bags.
Well, you know he beats up fans too.
Yeah, hey, he got that nickname when he a World Series winner. But anyway,
another thing I want to say, Gunnar Henderson, who is maybe his average is about the same as what was last week when we made that video about him getting sent down. However, his on base percentage, which I think is almost as good as average, because if you get on base, it's like what's that movie with the Oakland A's, Moneyball? Does he get on base? Because that's more important than almost anything else. And Gunnar Henderson's 8th in the league. He's
he hit a home run tonight, and he's in the last 3 games.
He's hitting the ball.
Watched them.
He's hitting the ball.
He's
only hit 175. But 341 on base, which that's pretty good. 400.
He made an adjustment. I read a big article about today. Major adjustment. It's like today. The Ben McDonald, the announcer, was saying last year throwing in fastballs outside, he was racking. Okay, they said they went inside, started throwing curveballs, and his home run tonight was on a curveball. He's made his adjustments. They told him his swing was getting too long, and anyway, so he's starting to rip the ball. They'll start falling. Not worried about him at all. His defense. I see the play tonight. Amazing play.
You worried about Austin Riley?
No, I'm not worried about him.
240, man.
I know, but hey, okay.
I feel like maybe I'm wrong, but are they like they're cold right now? Aren't they, the Braves?
Last couple games, but hey, they beat the Orioles 2 out of 3.
Yeah, they shouldn't have. If they had a better manager, they wouldn't have. But Atlanta's lost 3 games in a row.
Yeah, but I'm not worried about them. And Fried's hurt too, though. I'm worried about that. He's out for a little while, from what I understand.
Speaking of injured pitchers,
pardon?
Tampa. Drew Rasmussen's gone for like 3 months, 2 months.
I didn't hear. That's big.
That's big. Huge. And isn't Springs hurt too for a while?
Yeah, and I'll say this: Tampa will not be first at the end of the year. My prediction: they will not make the playoffs.
You know what my prediction is?
What's that?
They won't be in first place June 1st. The Baltimore Orioles will be first place on June 1st.
You're probably right, because that division is so tough. The Yankees are beat up, and they're still winning. They got Judge back now. They're rolling. He hit 2 homers today.
Well, the freaking Red Sox are doing good. No one thought the Red Sox are last place. But
Well, you know what?
they're
What they
22 and
did,
18 at last place.
I know, but Justin Turner is a leader. He's the unofficial captain there. He's doing solid, with him. How about the outfitter Duran? Is it? He is tearing it up every time I watch Boston. He's ripping, and you got to give a big shout out to Yoshida. He shocked me. Never thought he'd be that good. He's doing really good. Hopefully for Boston, he continues. I like him a lot.
I think he's a
That
fan
guy's
favorite as well. A lot of people, when you watch it, and I think his status got really built up in the WBC. I think a lot of guys that happened to him.
and I think Sale's starting to get back in the groove slowly but surely, and he's got a winning record. But his
Yeah, how long
ERA,
is that going to last until he gets hurt, though?
yeah, hopefully for them, no. But back to my positions, third base in National League. Who do you think's the highest hitting third baseman, I believe, in the National League? I've
I know
watched
who it is because I'm looking at the stats right here, but
J.D. Davis.
J.D. Davis.
Yeah, and he's had, but I think with the Mets, he started hot like that and then fades. So don't think that'll continue. But I
I
don't
want to
have
hear
his name.
your shortstop.
Well, hold on before you get that. Before when you talk about San Francisco, you got to mention the super rookie they got, Schmidt. Have you been following that story?
Uh-uh.
Yeah, look him up because I can't. I don't have my laptop with me, but he's really like 4 games maybe he's in his fifth tonight. I think they're all behind me. He's been doing really good. Hit home run his first game. I think they were playing the Nationals.
He doesn't even
Yeah,
qualify yet for what I'm looking up,
yeah,
but
no, but he's doing really good.
yeah.
He's really impressive. But shortstop. Okay, Nat American, you got to go with Bichette.
Who picked him to be the MVP this year? I'm just saying.
I mean, he's not getting for much power yet. Well, yeah, he is.
Well, he's
8 home
eight
runs.
home runs.
Yeah,
He's number one in shortstops and home runs.
yeah. I'm sorry, I looked at the wrong stat, but he's batting 325. But now, when you go to shortstop in the National League, now not talking about defense, but the highest hitting shortstop I got, if I'm correct, was Dansby Swanson.
It is.
But his numbers aren't spectacular. I like Dansby. I wish Atlanta would have kept him, but obviously not hurting him too bad.
Well, no. What about Geraldo Perdomo from Arizona? He's hit 346 in 30 games.
Hey, you talk about surprise team of the year. Is it not Arizona?
I don't know how long it's going to last.
Well,
I'm worried about them because.
But I'll tell you this:
San Diego's going to be up there.
San Diego is getting their butt kicked again tonight, or they just lost. I don't know.
Yeah, they lost. They've lost 4 games in a row. The 3-7 in their last 10.
Yeah.
Their run differential is -6. I'm thinking unless they really turn around, they're looking like a 500 team this year.
Yeah.
They're lucky they don't play in the East, man.
Is Soto hitting yet?
Shit, well, it looks like no one's hitting.
Yeah. Tatis is, I believe. But it's still early. They'll probably be there. The Giants have picked up the pace. I don't think they got enough.
And the Dodgers, I'm sorry to cut you off. The Dodgers beat them today. We got looking here. Soto's hit 262.
Well, he's hot then.
Bogart's 265. Manny Machado 237. The worst he's ever done in his career.
Hey, wait a minute. Let's go back. You were bragging about Bichette being your preseason MVP favorite. So tell me about Machado. Who was your MVP for the National League? And I told you no.
Machado was one of the picks.
Yeah, well, yeah, he was your pick.
One of them. Well,
Al,
but then you got Nelson Cruz. Nelson Cruz has turned back the clock for him, but Trent Grisham's 203. Ha-Seong Kim 227. Carpenter is what Carpenter is 203.
Trent Grisham's one of my all-time favorite players, and I think we all know why. If you look at my hat, you remember what happened with him? Remember they were about to be knocked out of the wild card game, and they hit the ball to him, and in fairness, I think it hit the ground and spun away from him. But anyway, he missed the ball, and we won.
Looking here too. Is Nick Martinez a bullpen guy now? Because he's only started 4 games, but 11 appearances this year.
Yeah,
but he's a 2.9. Michael Waka is a 4.8. Not good stuff. Lugo's doing good with the Padres at 3.1. Darvish 3.1. Blake Snell 4.6. Musgrove just came back. A couple days ago, right?
Yeah.
Well, he started 4 games. His ERA is 6.6, just under 20 innings. Not great.
Well, going to outfield, American League, I got Rosarena, Rooker, and Yoshida as my 3 top hitters, and arguably some of the best players. Not only about Rooker's defense, but Rosarena's okay. Yoshida, he's solid all the way around. He's got to be early favorite. for rookie of the year, and there'd be like 30 years old rookie. But anyway,
Well, what
uh,
about I think there's an argument to be made for him for sure, and I think the other rookie of the year for National League's going to be a right fielder as well. It's going to be Corbin Carroll.
or Outman. Outman's still solid.
Yeah,
But my top outfielders hitting in the National League, Acuna 342. Need I say more? He's only got 17 steals already, 992 OPS. But should I go on? Um, Castellano is having a good year offensively, 25 RBIs for Phillies. And speaking of the Phillies, Bryce Harper's back.
Josh
Very
Lowe's
excited.
doing good too for Tampa. Really good, 318.
Well,
Everyone in Atlanta's hitting.
try to keep up, man. I'm National League.
I know you're talking. I'm just interjecting as
Well,
I see
I
fit.
like Josh Lowe because, as I checked recently, he was born in Chesapeake, Virginia, and his brother, who plays for the Rangers, was born in Norfolk,
I
Virginia.
didn't know they were
And
brothers.
yeah, and I'm very close to that area. And their dad was a Navy pilot, which is amazing, and that's a great thing. God bless all our military. And then going on, outfield, one of my personal favorites, Spong, is Brandon Nimmo with the Mets. Always liked him. Spent 317. He's a leader. Like him a lot. I'm glad he re-signed. I like the Mets. Mets are really disappointing how they're doing, but I see a lot of holes on that team, especially in their pitching and
Mm-hmm.
especially in their, well, everywhere. You know, they're not going to be the team everybody thought. Another year, the Mets fans are let down. They will not be a playoff team. If they are, I'll be shocked because I don't see it. Scherzer,
No,
nothing. Verlander's solid in 2 starts, I think. But getting into pitching, American League, some of the best starters, just going by wins and losses. McClanahan, who I really like a lot, Tampa 7-0, man.
yeah.
Uh, and how about Minnesota's Joe Ryan? It's Joe, right? Ryan,
Mm-hmm.
6-1, 2-1 ERA, .84 WHIP.
Yep.
Garrett Cole, he's had 3 games in a row where he has got hammered.
Yeah,
His
his
ERA,
he remember he was top three or top I think it was top three last week in WHIP. He's not in the top 10 now in WHIP.
right? And his ERA is great. It's
He's
2.22,
19.
but
He dropped way back to 19. His ERA is now
yeah.
2.2, which is good, but it was like 1.2 last week. So
But
he's not.
hey,
You know who still 4 weeks now in the row leading the league in WHIP? Who did
well,
a
yeah, he did.
fantastic job tonight? One hit, or I guess what, 3 hits and 6 2/3.
What's his third or fourth win this year
Was it
too?
six
Yeah,
six? He's 3-1, 2.68 ERA, 7 starts, 47 innings pitched this year, 14 earned runs, has a .7 WHIP, 39 strikeouts for Tyler Wells for the Baltimore Orioles, who is just doing fantastic. Another ex-Oriole prospect, Eduardo Rodriguez, second in the league in WHIP with a .79, 1.57 ERA. Again, Joe Ryan, like we said, third. Zach Gallen, four. Shohei Ohtani, five. One thing I do want to
and
mention about
hold on. And how about Steele with Chicago 6-0, 1.82 ERA? Where'd that come from? Kershaw. How can we? You can't. Kershaw 6-2, the best pitcher of our generation, hands down. You can talk about DeGrom, but what is your saying about availability?
yeah, no, I know.
He's hurt again. So there's no pitcher today that in the last 15 years that is Kershaw. Kershaw is the best pitcher, hands down. Another Texas product, of course. Um, and plus he's a good guy, man. I like him.
I saw
Um,
a stat today, speaking of pitchers, about Spencer Strider. Do you know what his Ks per nine is this year?
it's probably it was like 14 last year.
14.1.
Uh-huh.
That's
He's so,
that's like PlayStation numbers. That's crazy. He
right.
didn't do that
I
against the
know.
Orioles, I might say, but still.
Well,
Framber
now the
Valdez is doing
now
good.
the closers, now the closers, Clase, he's got 13 saves, but he blown up last night, I think. And then the second saves American League was Felix Bautista, the Mountain,
Bautista.
10 saves, 1.42 ERA. National League, another favorite. Both of these guys lead the 11 saves for Josh Hader, another guy that Orioles blew up. When was that Dombrowski? What was Duquette
Yeah.
guy? Let go. Mistake. 11 saves, 106 ERA, .76 WHIP. Then you got Bednar from Pittsburgh, who is a great relief pitcher, .60 ERA, .67 WHIP. But with them, it ain't going to matter because they're starting to come back to earth. They stink again. Well, they played solid against Baltimore last night, but
They're going
Baltimore
to get
beat them.
swept.
I hope because I like the Pirates a lot, and they were. But you know what? Maybe this is a sign they're coming back. Maybe they can hover close to 500, and maybe
At
the
least their
owner.
fans have something to cheer about, man. The last 5 years, 6 years, they have nothing to cheer about.
I
So
mean, when I was growing up, year in year out, they were good up until the early '90s, and then they've had a year here or there. But that's a disgrace what they've done to that team. You know, like I said before, if you're an owner, if you can't afford it, get out. You know, they
I
got a
feel
lot of
like
young.
we're gonna have this discussion in the off season. We're going to
Yeah,
talk about.
Kansas
I know
City.
we're going to, with that, and I want to talk about how I'm hearing there's no movement on Adley Rutschman getting re-signed right now. They are in no hurry to get him re-signed. That's stupid because if they wait till he's a free agent, which they can do, they might be able to get him for $20 million a year now. He'll probably be a $40 million 40 years if he goes to free agency. They he has proven enough to where he's not a flash in the pan. Gunnar Henderson, on the other hand, he hasn't proven that yet. I wouldn't sign him like that. But
I would.
Adley, he's just that guy. You know, his floor is really high, and his ceiling is also really high. His ceiling is the MVP caliber player. His floor is fringe all star every year.
Well, I mentioned DeGrom. What I'm hearing 3-4 weeks maybe.
Maybe
You know that's a shame. Texas is still winning. That's Bruce Bochy effect there, buddy. You know, Houston still hadn't came out of their funk. Um,
Mm-mm.
but you know, the more I think about them, I think their pitchers last year kind of had career years. I know, and one of their starting pitchers is gone for a year now, and McCullers he'll probably never play. So there's two. So and Verlander's gone. So basically, there's three starters from last year are gone.
I want to say I'm pretty
Bregman,
sure if we look back on our predictions, one of us, said that would happen. I'm gonna leave it at that.
I'll give you that, but that was a lucky guess
Speaking
at
of
the time.
bad players, let's talk about the guys who lead the league in negative WAR.
Like,
The
who's that?
worst players in the league. Surprisingly, Jose Abreu was tied for the worst players based on WAR in baseball
But
this year.
he's not really productive, is he? This year?
Clearly not. His negative WAR right now. So he is just not even an average replacement player. He's hitting 218. He has 0 home runs and 150 at bats. His
Hey, he's
power,
old.
if you look
He's
at his
old.
power there from when he started his career, it's just consistently gone down, 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 down. He's 36. He's not what he was. He had that massive, massive fall off, which
Massive.
we could have
It's
predicted.
right.
Behind him, the Gene Segura, it's Gene Segura, Jose Urena from Colorado, Ken Waldichuk from Oakland. I feel bad for him. Jacob Stallings, Matt Bush, Miguel Cabrera needs to hang it up. Amides Diaz, Romy Gonzalez, and Nate Eaton are the top 10 worst players in baseball. Some other names up here that are kind of surprising. George Springer.
Well, let me ask you a question. Why does a team like Detroit, they're rebuilding and they've been playing pretty good lately? I don't know. Did they win today? I don't remember. But uh, you know, they keep guys around like him. Yeah, you know, it's kind of like here's the difference. It's like hockey. You got an old guy with Washington in hockey, Ovechkin, but he's one of the best goal scorers still in the league at advanced age. Cabrera is useless. Why would you keep him on a rebuild team? Oh, for leadership? You know that. See, why do they do that? I mean, this is a business. Why are they say? Is it loyalty? How many World Series championships did Cabrera bring them? What, none?
They won
You
like '04, didn't they?
No, they won like an 84, right?
Uh,
Yeah,
or
because
he won it in Miami.
yeah, he didn't win it in Detroit.
Hold on, let's see.
Detroit didn't win a World Series your lifetime, pal.
Mm-mm. They made it in 2012.
Yeah, how'd that work out? That was yeah. They were, is that Miami they played or
Miami?
who'd they
What?
play? When was the
No,
last
it
time
was the
Miami won?
Giants.
Oh yeah,
Miami
Dusty.
hasn't made a World Series since like '98 or '02 or something.
Speaking of Giants in the World Series, remember Dusty's son ran out there when he's like 2 or 3 years old and almost got freight trained.
Yeah.
I want to mention his son's playing in Rochester and Washington National System, and I checked yesterday. He was batting 350. Nationals, he'd get rid of that dead old weight they got and put him up there. Carter Keyboom came back from a year and plus and being hurt, is ripping the ball. So
Can we talk
that's
about real quick? I want to talk about some prospects and how they're doing.
all
MLB's
right.
updated top 10 prospect list. So Gunnar Henderson's off of it now. So the number one prospect right now would be Jordan Walker. You're looking at Jordan Walker's stats right now. He's in Memphis and he's not hitting at all. He's actually hitting better in the
St.
majors.
Louis.
He's hitting 274 for St. Louis, and they sent him down for just 14 games. He's hitting 154. Not
Would
looking.
they blame him for their losing?
I don't know. He's hitting 274 though. I don't understand that. And they're a terrible team. They need to call him up.
Oh, can we break off of that 1 second?
Uh,
Uh,
sure.
one reason they're losing, they lost Molina, right? Their leader,
Yeah.
and they got Contreras. Have you been reading about that?
Uh-uh.
They said they don't like him. Who was it last year? Oh, one of the good teams they had a chance to get. Oh, Houston almost could have acquired him or something. I was reading, and Dusty said no, don't want him. They said he's a terrible influence. They said he's so bad at catching now that they're going to DH him and play him in the outfield. And they paid all that money, a big contract, and they don't want him.
That's terrible.
Think of that. So somebody didn't do their homework, then, did they? I mean, how do these teams, these general managers, you know, how do they run their teams? Are
Well,
they
they
ignorant?
probably think. I'm sure there's guys who think, "Well, we can fix them." Just like
Yeah.
NFL, you see these guys who get all these drug out or domestic violence. Well, we'll change him. We'll change him.
Yeah.
He'll be
Yeah.
different here.
Well, that's the
Nine
Dallas
times out of
Cowboys
10,
talking
you
about,
are
right?
what your track record says you are. And of course, people can change, but more times than not, especially athletes who aren't the,
Hey, what did Mike Singletary say?
you are who we thought you were. We let
That's
them off
right.
the hook.
That's right. That's right. That's exactly right. So, but that's a big deal. But go back to your
Yeah,
prospects.
Andrew Painter not playing yet.
Right.
Hopefully soon. Grayson Rodriguez, number 3 overall prospect in baseball.
He's a major, so
I don't know about him, man. Sometimes he'll look dominant, and then other times he'll look.
very inconsistent, one inning to the next,
His
man.
ERA's 5. It's not good.
But you know what?
It's strikeouts.
As as a fan who likes teams in the Middle Atlantic Seaboard, two teams, I feel their pitching coaches are amazing. Look at the turnaround just in this season in Dean, Junior Kramer, and Kyle Bradish. There's two people in
Yep.
Wells. Look right there. That tells you what their pitching coaches are about. Okay. Look at your boy Cano.
Oh, Yenier. Oh, yeah. Well, we'll talk about him after the prospects. But Jackson Churio, who is in Double A for the Biloxi Shuckers, the Double A team for the Milwaukee Brewers, hitting 261 right now. So he is doing okay. He's only 19, though, so that's really, I still think that's impressive for me. He should be a Triple A guy this year. He needs to put some weight on. He's only 160 pounds. Or maybe the Commanders might draft him to play cornerback. Marcelo Meyer, the shortstop, who's just in
Wasn't
high
he in
A.
Pulp Fiction?
Huh?
Was he in Pulp Fiction? Was Marcelo in Pulp Fiction?
Yeah, does he look like a Marcelo Meyer's killing it in high A. He's hitting 337. That Double A
In
ball.
high A.
In
In high A.
well, he's only
And how many years has he been in the system? 3?
he's 20 years old.
Okay, well that's not my problem. He's only high A. He's been in the system like 3 years.
He should
18,
be
19,
called
20.
up to Double A soon.
Yeah,
Then
well,
you have Ellie Dela Cruz, who now who's got hot. He has been hitting some home runs, and they've been some moonshot home runs. He's hitting 268 Triple A. I think it's really a matter of time for him.
hey,
I
have you
really
noticed
think it's a
the
matter of
Reds?
time.
The Reds are playing some solid ball, man.
He's the guy they
They
can call up, and I bet he's
get
a
well,
jolt.
Jonathan India, another guy I like a lot, hitting 300. Was it T.J. Friedel? He's hitting Senzel. Nick came back from being hurt. He's hitting good, solid.
Yeah,
They got a few young pitchers. They're and your buddy Stevenson, the catcher.
yeah.
I like the Reds. I mean, I say I like this. I like them all. I don't really hate any team except for one.
Well,
And
let's.
they're not anyway.
Yeah, Jordan Lawler, who is the 7th-rated prospect for the Arizona Diamondbacks, not doing good in Double A. Not doing good at all. He's hitting 184 and 100 at bats. Then we brings us to who I'm predicting right now on May 13th will be the number one prospect going into spring training next year, Jackson Holiday. All he does
Yep.
everywhere he
It's
goes is hit.
Gets on
And
base.
he has power. He is amazing ball player. He started off slow in high A. Understandable.
Well,
He's hitting
yeah.
302 in high A. He hit 392 this year in low A. He's hitting 346 overall in the minors this year. Has 4 home runs, 21 21 RBIs, 26 walks, 26 strikeouts. So he's walking and striking at the same
Hey,
pace, which
let
is
me ask you a
crazy.
question. How is the Orioles have a guy who's playing every day? I don't think he played today, but he plays mostly every day. He's a Cuban. He defected a couple years ago.
Caesar,
The Orioles signed him, Prieto. The dude is batting 405. Why is he in Double A? I mean, what more does he got to prove?
I'll tell you why. Jorge Mateo, Ramon Urias, and Gunnar Henderson are holding up the line. Not Gunnar so much, but the other two, they're holding up, and it's just a logjam. All they have is middle infield prospects. That's literally their whole minor league system.
Whoa. Only middle?
Westberg,
What about
Joey Ortiz, Gunnar Henderson, Jackson Holly. That's four middle infielders right there.
Colton Cowser?
Yeah, I mean, they got
Colton
outfielders
Cowser got
too, but I'm just saying most of
yeah.
their prospects are middle infielders.
He's
It's
batting like 330, something, got on like 4 times tonight.
Kerstad's doing good for the Orioles, but again,
Weston Haskins, Kerstad.
Yuri
I mean,
Perez. Let's talk about Yuri Perez real quick, who just made his MLB debut. 20 years old, awesome, and he only did 4.2 innings, 3.8 ERA, but he's 20 years old, 6'8" guy, so it's interesting, exciting to see him. Then you got 10, the Dodger catcher Diego Cartaya. It was in Tulsa right now, slugging a nice 197. Taking a look at some other big name prospects here, we'll go to number 13 or number 11 real quick. Second pick last year, Drew Jones, who is struggling mightily in Visalia. He is hitting 175. I'm hearing.
Hey, is Kevin Costner coaching out there yet?
I'm.
Crash.
I heard some stories that people expect him to be his dad, and he's just definitely not his dad. And I'm not hearing
Why?
good
Because
things about him.
he don't beat up women.
Andrew Jones.
Yeah, he got in trouble for that. He sure did.
Andrew Jones should be a Hall of Famer.
You never seen him play.
He's like 12 Gold Gloves.
I know, but his average seemed like his offense got worse every year.
Yeah, well, keep moving on. We'll take a look at here. Minnesota Twins one of their top prospects, Brooks Lee, hit 267 in Wichita. Moving on to
what's Brooks Lee doing?
He's hit 267 in Double A.
See, he's going to be blocked too. I like him a lot too.
Yep.
He's hitting really good in spring training.
Jason Dominguez, who is not doing good for Somerset Patriots, Double A for the New York Yankees, hitting 198. But hey, he's the second coming of Babe Ruth, baby. So just a matter of time.
Oh, what about your buddy there? You said Dominguez. What's he doing?
Jason Dominguez hitting 198 in Double A.
I hope he starts hitting because I got a lot of his cards, his first cards.
He's a stud, man. Everyone should he's a superstar. I
hope he is.
Keep moving along. We'll have here Jack Leiter for the Texas Rangers, who's not doing necessarily great this year, 4.3 ERA and Double A, so hopefully he gets the call. One guy I do like, because I really do like this player, he's an Oriole, Heston Kjerstad, is hitting 300 this year. 384 on base, 9 from 16 RBIs, Double A. No reason he needs to be in Double A.
It's hard not to turn us into Oriole show when you talk about prospects because it's unreal. Anybody listening, go to the Norfolk Tide stats and look at the batting average. And every night, they had 12 runs again tonight. It's every night they're pounding 10 plus hits. I mean, they've had 20 runs in a game or two this year. 10 runs a game's nothing for that team. And they lead the international.
It's like every night they're scoring.
I call you or text you every night and give you the box score, don't I? Because it's incredible. I listen to them on the radio if I'm not watching them on TV.
It's interesting to see it because I mean it's every night. It's crazy.
And they play in one of the finest ballparks right on the water in beautiful Norfolk, Virginia.
Take a look real quick. We'll just touch on it because this is a baseball story. Colton Cowser, 333, one of the top prospects of the Orioles. Joey Ortiz, another top prospect, 320. Jordan Westbrook, 313.
Norby.
Lewin Diaz, 310. Connor Norby, 279. They are just.
I think that's old because he had 2-3 hits tonight, dude.
Yeah, this is on their website. I don't know how they probably did it every night. But looking here, some of their scores were just from this month. Durham, they scored 12 runs, 9 runs, 5 runs, 1 run, 5 run, 10 runs, 8 runs, 13 runs. But then you go back to late April, and let's say some of these scores here. They beat Charlotte Knights 20-1 one night. Then they beat Rochester 17-7. It's just. They beat Gwinnett 21-2. It's like a football score. 11 runs here, 6 runs, 6, 5, 7. It's just
2-3 touchdowns a game is nothing for them.
It's really not. But
real quick before we go there, the power rankings? The last ones I got out, Sports Weekly does them. And late last week they came out with Tampa Bay I'll just read them in order, like first 10: Tampa Bay, Atlanta, Baltimore, Toronto, the Dodgers, the Rangers, Milwaukee, who's won again tonight, Pittsburgh. I'm sure they're going to drop. San Diego's going to drop. Minnesota's probably going to move up. Arizona
Pittsburgh's going to
and
drop out of the
Boston.
top 10.
Yeah.
You know, it's
But the worst ones: Oakland, KC, Chicago, White Sox, Rockies, Nationals,
I'm looking
Reds.
here
I think the Reds will move up.
on ESPN's baseball power rankings. They
Mm-hmm.
have Baltimore 7th, right?
See, that's ridiculous. They got second best
They
record
have
in baseball.
Houston ahead of them. Houston.
Right.
Um, you know, they beat Tampa. Okay, they played the Braves hard. The Orioles are the third. I think they're the second best team in baseball. I think they're the best team in baseball right now.
I think so
Find me
too,
a better
because
pitching staff right now.
because that's right. That was their weakness. I mean, the Orioles, according to Mike Elias, I heard him on the radio. I guess I told you yesterday. He said they're getting better. They're not going to get worse. He said we're young guys are maturing. They're going to get better. He said your pitchers. You got your Kramer and your Bradish and your Wells. They haven't been up there long. They're getting better. The last two outings for two outings for those three pitchers has been amazing.
Tyler Wells hasn't
You know,
had a bad start this year.
uh-uh.
He had one start and he gave up 3 runs, and that was his
He
first
was
start.
good last year. He got hurt.
Yeah, but
Um,
let's
and
wrap
he
it
was a
up.
Rule 5 guy.
Let's get wrapping it up here.
Yep.
What are your closing thoughts, real quick? We'll make it very brief. 30 seconds.
Very brief. I'm excited baseball's going. It's a great season because my teams are winning, which I like them all. I wish Oakland were better. I wish they wouldn't move. And that's all I got to say.
Well, this has been Brooks Knows Baseball. I think I want to release a video next week about the blasphemy I've been hearing a lot of people talk about how they don't think Babe Ruth is good or couldn't
Yeah.
compete in.
We read a stat when they adjusted things for ballpark size, and they said he would have had 90 home runs the year he hit 60. If you use today's ballpark sizes back then. So when people talk about Barry Bonds, Babe, the only substance he put in his body was food and tobacco and alcohol. Best player ever. Second to Ty Cobb. Ty Cobb, in my mind, was the greatest player in history.
Yeah. Ty Cobb gets a bad rap because that stupid Stumpy or whatever that writer
That was
blasphemed his
stupid.
name.
They
It was
they
all
make him out to
bullshit.
be racist. They
All
make
of
him
it was
out to be
wrong.
racist.
It's ridiculous.
And
That guy
the
that guy got in trouble for lying on his newspaper articles before, and he just made that crap up about Ty Cobb. That's all false. That they shouldn't even made that movie. I like the movie. They shouldn't even made it because all it did is make him look like a terrible person. I have my own thoughts why that is, but this has been Brooks Knows Baseball, where we discussed the top players in the game today. Went over some stats as well. Feel free.
we need some feedback too.
Yeah, if you're here at the 38-minute mark, please like it, share it, subscribe it, follow us. Let us know. Let me know how my new haircut looks. Comment. Let me know anything. Just say something.
You paid for that?
No, your mama did. But, all right. So this has been Jeremy, and I'm signing with Johnny Boy. Good night, everybody.
That's all for this week. That's all for this week for Brooks Knows Baseball. We'll catch you next week.
There will be another day.
Yeah. If you don't keep talking bad about my mom, there won't be. Bye.